You know, sometimes life breaks you in places you didn't even know existed. You wake up one day and realize you're not the same person anymore. The pain, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the rejection, it's not just something you feel. It changes your energy, your rhythm, your heartbeat. It pulls you away from everything you thought you knew about yourself. But here's what I want you to understand. Your pain is not your prison. It's your power. I've had nights where I couldn't even find my voice. Days where I smiled in front of everyone, only to fall apart the moment I was alone. And I kept asking myself, why me? Why this? But looking back, that pain was preparing me. It was shaping a strength in me that comfort never could. It taught me how to stand still when the world was spinning. And it taught me how to rise, not for revenge, not for validation, but for peace. You don't become powerful by pretending to be okay. You become powerful by allowing yourself to break and then learning how to build again with grace, with softness, and with boundaries. So if you're going through something right now, if it hurts so much that you can barely breathe, I want you to remember, this pain will not last forever, but what you learn from it will. There's something no one tells you about pain, how it doesn't just break you. It builds you too. It builds you too. When you're in the middle of it, it feels endless, like you're being torn apart piece by piece. But what you don't see in that moment is that those pieces are actually being rearranged into someone stronger, someone wiser. Pain has a way of stripping away all the noise, the masks, the distractions. It brings you face to face with your truest self, the one beneath the expectations, beneath the fear. I've had moments in my life where I thought the pain was going to define me forever, like I would never feel whole again. But over time, I realized something else was happening. I wasn't being destroyed. I was being recreated, more grounded, more compassionate, more aware of what really matters. That version of me could only be born through the fire. There's this pressure to always be okay. To smile, to keep moving, to pretend like nothing's wrong even when you're quietly falling apart. But the truth is, pretending doesn't heal anything. Numbing the pain doesn't make it disappear. It just delays the moment you finally face it. And the moment you do, that's when the real power begins. I used to think being strong meant not showing emotion, not letting anyone see me cry, but I've learned that real strength is the opposite. It's looking at your pain honestly. It's saying, yes, this hurts. Yes, I'm struggling. And I'm still here. And I'm still here. That kind of truth, that raw honesty with yourself, unlocks a different kind of strength. One that's rooted not in image or pride, but in courage. Acknowledging your pain doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're brave enough to be real. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply admit, I'm not okay, but I'm trying. That's the first step toward healing. That's where your transformation begins. It's in the quiet after the storm, the nights when you're alone with your thoughts, with the silence, with the ache in your chest, that you begin to discover who you really are. When everything you counted on disappears, when the love you thought would last forever leaves, when the dreams you built start to fall apart, that's when your truth shows up. And it's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just you breathing through the pain, refusing to let go of hope. That is strength. Showing up when no one is watching, holding yourself together when everything's falling apart, choosing not to give in to bitterness when it would be so much easier to shut down and stop feeling altogether. Those lowest moments where you think you've lost everything, they reveal the parts of you that are unshakable. The parts that fight, that endure, that choose healing over hiding. That's when you start to see that your strength is never about being perfect or untouchable. Still standing, still choosing love, still moving forward. There's this idea that once you start healing, everything just gets better day by day. That once you decide to move on, it'll be a straight path forward. But healing doesn't work like that. It's messy. It's unpredictable. Some days you feel free, light, even happy. And then out of nowhere, something reminds you of the pain, and it feels like you're right back where you started. I've been there. Feeling like I was finally okay, only to be caught off guard by a memory, a song, a familiar place. It made me feel weak, like I was failing at healing. But I've come to understand that those moments aren't signs of failure. They're part of the process. They're reminders that you're human, and that healing is more like a spiral than a straight line. You revisit the pain, but each time you do, you're a little stronger, a little wiser, a little closer to peace. It's okay to have setbacks. It's okay to cry over something you thought you were done crying about. You're allowed to feel everything. The truth is, healing isn't about erasing the pain. It's about learning how to carry it differently, softer, with more grace, with more understanding toward yourself. Sometimes life puts you through things you never asked for, never expected, and never believed you'd survive. The heartbreaks, the disappointments, the moments when everything seems to fall apart without warning, those aren't just random chapters in your story. They are the ones that shape you the most. It's easy to look at painful experiences and ask, why me? It's harder, but so much more powerful to eventually say, 8 says this will teach me something. Every time your heart breaks, it breaks open. Every tear you cry is watering a part of you that's growing quietly beneath the surface. You can't always see it in the moment, but that pain is making room for something deeper. Wisdom, compassion, clarity, strength. There are seasons in my life where I thought the pain would swallow me whole, where I couldn't see beyond the next day. But slowly, with time, I started to realize that the version of me who came out of those seasons was more grounded, more aware of what I deserved, more connected to who I truly am. Not despite the pain, but because of it. Growth doesn't always look like winning. Sometimes it looks like surviving. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when it feels impossible, like choosing to forgive even when it hurts, like letting go of something you thought you couldn't live without. That's growth. Quiet, invisible, but powerful. You don't come out of pain the same person, and that's the gift. You come out of it more in touch with your soul, more sure of your worth, more willing to set boundaries and protect your peace. The hardest moments in life have a strange way of revealing the most beautiful truths about who you are and who you are meant to be. Heartbreak has this way of tearing you open so completely. It feels like there's nothing left. Nothing left. The kind of pain that steals your breath, your peace, and sometimes your sense of who you are. You spend so much time loving someone else, pouring all your energy into keeping something alive, that when it ends, you're left staring at the pieces, unsure of how to put yourself back together. But that's the thing about heartbreak. It doesn't just destroy love for someone else. It creates the space to finally fall in love with yourself. And not in some surface level, mirror affirmation kind of way. I'm talking about real, honest, deep self-love. The kind that says, even when no one chooses me, I will choose myself. After the pain settles, after the silence teaches you what you really needed all along, you begin to understand that you were never truly broken. You were simply shedding layers of who you thought you had to be. And what's left is someone softer, wiser, and more aware of her own value. You stop begging to be seen because you start seeing yourself. You stop chasing temporary comfort because you've learned to hold your own hand. You begin to realize that the kind of love you kept searching for in others has been waiting for you inside all along. It's in the way you speak to yourself when you're tired. In the way you protect your heart instead of giving it away too quickly. In the way you walk away from anything that doesn't feel right. That love, that fierce, quiet, unconditional love for your own soul, is the kind of love that never abandons you. It grows from the ashes of every heartbreak, and it becomes your foundation. Strong, unshakable, yours. We live in a world that tells us to be tough, to be unbothered, to never let anyone see us cry, like somehow strength is measured by how well we hide our hurt. But I've learned through moments that shattered me, through silence that felt deafening, through pain that refused to be ignored, that true strength looks nothing like perfection. It looks like vulnerability. Being vulnerable is not weakness. It's the most courageous thing you can do. It's choosing to open your heart even when it's been broken. It's showing up honestly even when your voice trembles. It's telling your story even when it's messy and unfinished. Vulnerability says, I'm human. I've been through things, and I'm still here. That kind of bravery is rare. It's raw. It's raw. It's real. There were times when I tried to hold everything in, to act like I was fine just to keep others comfortable. But the longer I stayed silent, the heavier the weight became. And when I finally let it out, when I admitted that I wasn't okay, that I was hurting, that I needed time to heal, something shifted. People didn't walk away. The right people leaned in. And more importantly, I leaned into myself. Letting yourself be seen in your most tender moments doesn't make you small. It makes you honest. It means you care enough about your truth to live it out loud. Vulnerability invites healing, connection, and self-acceptance. It allows others to say, me too. And in that simple connection, shame begins to dissolve. There's so much strength in the softness, so much resilience in the realness. And when you stop hiding and start honoring what you feel, you unlock a new kind of power, one that doesn't need to be loud or guarded to be felt. It's quiet. It's steady. It's yours. You all carry scars, and you can see others no one will ever notice. They come from words that cut too deep, from people who walked away, from moments that left us shattered in silence. And for a long time, I tried to hide mine. I thought they were signs that I'd failed, that I was damaged, that maybe I was too much or not enough. But I see them differently now. Scars aren't flaws, they're proof. Proof that you went through something that tried to break you, and you made it out the other side. Maybe not unchanged, maybe not unhurt, but you made it. And that matters more than anyone will ever know. Scars tell a story that only you truly understand. They hold the lessons you fought to learn, the strength you didn't know you had, the parts of you that kept going even when everything told you to give up. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you healed. You don't have to justify the time it took, the way you coped, or the mess you made while trying to find your way back to yourself. Healing is never perfect. It's not linear, not predictable, and certainly not something you rush. Your scars show that you were in pain, but they also show that pain didn't win. I used to wish certain things had never happened to me. I used to look at parts of my story and feel ashamed. But over time, I realized that those chapters built the foundation of the woman I've become. Stronger, softer, wiser, more intentional with my love, and more protective of my peace. My scars remind me that I didn't just survive. I grew, I transformed, I rose. And so did you. There's something about pain that sharpens your vision. When everything falls apart, when people show their true colors, when your heart breaks in places you didn't know could break, it's like the fog lifts. Things you once tolerated start to feel heavy. The excuses you used to make for others no longer sit right in your spirit. What used to feel like love starts to feel like self-abandonment. And suddenly, you just know. You know what you're no longer willing to accept. Pain opens your eyes in ways peace never could. It doesn't just wake you up, it changes what you see. It teaches you where your limits are and why you need to protect them. And for a while, that realization can feel lonely. Because the clearer you get about what you need, the more distance you create from what no longer fits. But that's not loss, it's alignment. And alignment is sacred. The truth is, you don't set boundaries when everything is calm. You set them when you've been pushed too far. When your silence has been mistaken for weakness. When you've given too many second chances and finally decide to stop betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. That decision, to draw the line, to say no more, to walk away when it hurts, isn't bitterness, it's wisdom. It's clarity born from the ache of lessons you didn't want but deeply needed. I've learned that boundaries aren't walls. They're doors that only open for the right energy. They're how you tell the world, I've been through too much to let this happen again. They're not about keeping people out. They're about keeping yourself safe, whole, and at peace. And that peace, that clear, calm, non-negotiable peace, it's worth everything it took to get there. After heartbreak, after disappointment, after those seasons where nothing made sense, the idea of a comeback can feel distant, like a future that belongs to someone stronger, someone braver, someone who has it all figured out. But here's the truth. Your comeback doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. It doesn't have to look like a big dramatic return. Sometimes the most powerful comebacks are quiet, graceful, and rooted in softness. Because once you've been broken, you learn not to rush your healing. You start to choose peace over performance. Yeah. You no longer seek validation through noise. You find strength in your stillness. You realize you don't have to prove anything to anyone. The power is in the fact that you're still here. The strength is in how you carry yourself. Not with hardness, but with hardness, but with heart. Your comeback will look like this: saying no without guilt, protecting your energy without apology, loving yourself in all the ways you used to beg others to love you, and forgiving, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve to be free. You deserve to stop bleeding for things that are already behind you. You deserve to live fully in your next chapter without dragging the weight of your last one. You won't come back bitter. You'll come back wiser, softer, but with stronger boundaries. quieter, but more grounded, and gentler, but more in control of your story. And the people who truly see you, who truly value your growth, will recognize the power in that. Because your softness doesn't make you weak. Hey, it's what makes you real, what makes you human, what makes you whole. Your comeback isn't about being who you used to be. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be before the world tried to break you. Before the pain, before the doubt, before you ever question your own worth. And when you finally step into that version of you, that's the moment everything changes. That's the moment you stop surviving and start thriving. And so if you're in pain right now, I want you to know it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something new, something stronger, something softer. You may not see it yet, but this pain is preparing you. It's shaping you. It's teaching you how to rise with grace, how to protect your heart without hardening it, how to walk through fire and still choose love on the other side. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you'll look back and realize this pain didn't break you, it built you. And you'll whisper to yourself, I made it, not because you were perfect, not because you were perfect, not because you never fell, but because you kept going. With trembling hands, a healing heart, and a quiet strength no one can take away. This pain will make you powerful, not in spite of your scars, but because of them.